What's up, everyone? We are back with picks on every single NBA game for Friday, February 23rd. Back-to-back huge NBA slates, and we are here to break it all down for you. This video is brought to you by StumpTheSpread.com, where you can get all of our best picks and predictions on every major sport. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the NBA and NCAA basketball videos that we are posting every single day. Welcome to all the new subscribers and new viewers. Don't forget to comment below with any questions or bets on today's slate. I read and respond to every single comment. Now let's dive into our first game of the day, Toronto at Atlanta. Toronto got an absolute blowout win over the Brooklyn Nets last night, so they're looking very solid coming into this game. They've been playing kind of mediocre all season long. They were big sellers at the trade deadline, but maybe that break gave them a chance to get all their young players kind of welded into some kind of cohesive unit. They're playing really well. It looks like right out of the gate here at the All-Star break, they went nuts, blowing out the Nets. We're looking at like 30-point blowout territory, 121-93. Scotty Barnes didn't even have to be the main scorer. We saw Gary Trent Jr. go off. We saw RJ Barrett play all right. We saw Quickly look really promising. That's a good sign. They need all these young assets to start proving that they're worth it. The Atlanta Hawks did not play last night. They're in for their first action after the All-Star break. Before the All-Star break, they got absolutely blown out by the Charlotte Hornets, which is pretty embarrassing. Toronto comes into this game plus 6.5. They're only 13-14-1 against the spread playing on the road, and they're 3-7-0 against the spread on no rest. Not the best numbers in the world, but when looking at Atlanta is only 8-20 against the spread at home. Yeah, that's near league worst kind of territory. The Hawks come into this game, I don't really have very many positive things to say about them. They did turn it on there for a minute when the trade talk was really heating up around Dejounte Murray, but I have very little faith in this team. This won't be a game that I'm betting, but if you hold my toes to the fire, I'm going to take Toronto and the points in this one. Next up, we've got the Cleveland Cavaliers heading to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. Cleveland comes into this one fresh off a loss last night against the Orlando Magic. Congrats to everybody who was on the right side of that one. I was leaning on Orlando and the points, so that feels pretty good. Cleveland was one of the hottest teams in the NBA coming into the All-Star break. Maybe they have a little bit of an All-Star hangover here. The Cavaliers are 14-10-1 against the spread playing on the road and 3-4-1 against the spread on no rest. The 76ers are also playing on no rest in this game, coming off of a loss to the Knicks. I'm a little bit worried about Philly right now. They're in a bad way. They've gotten moderately healthier, I guess, but with Embiid out, none of that really matters. It's Embiid coming back or bust for this team. Right now, Philly is just not looking good. They're only 6-4 against the spread on no rest. Cleveland is in a huge bounce back spot, and right now they're only -4.5. Jump on that right now, guys. Get your money down on Cleveland at that good number before the line changes. We're taking the Cavaliers on the road in this one. The LA Clippers head to Memphis in our next game. The Clippers come into this one fresh off a loss, a pretty devastating loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They lost 129-107. Not a good look. You know they had to be a little bit hungover from the All-Star break, but you would have thought they would want to show out against a young, up-and-coming team. Kawhi looked absolutely solid in that game, putting up great numbers. He went 9 of 13 from the field, but everybody else just was kind of a letdown, except for Norman Powell, who continues to come off the bench and absolutely light the league on fire. Memphis, there's really not a lot of great stuff to say about Memphis. They're pretty much folding. Memphis went into the All-Star break playing relatively well, winning 2 games in a row, but I don't expect big things for them coming right out of the break. We've got the Clippers in a bounce-back spot. We expect everyone to play pretty much. LA is 5-3 against the spread when playing on no rest and 15-12 against the spread on the road. Also, we see Memphis pretty terrible against the spread playing at home, going 11-16, and a lot of those 11 were when Ja Morant came back. So right now, this spread is looking like Clippers -10. I think I like the Clippers in this one. It's kind of a big number, so it might not be one of my bigger plays of the night. I don't like it quite as much as I like the Cavaliers, but definitely give me LA in a bounce-back spot. Next up, we got the Washington Wizards headed to OKC to take on the Thunder. The Wizards come into this one on no rest. They just played the Denver Nuggets. That was a tough game, and most of the games are tough for the Wizards right now. The Thunder come off that big blowout win over the Clippers, so we find OKC in something of a letdown spot. We expect the Thunder to be healthy in this game. There's no reason to think they're really going to be resting anyone, and they've been very good against the spread both on the road and on no rest, going 18-9 against the spread at home and 6-3 against the spread on no rest. This is going to be a huge spread, guys. We're looking at Washington plus 14.5. Washington has been startlingly good against the spread when they're playing on the road, but they've been pretty bad against the spread on no rest. This is too big of a spread for me. I'm not going to be on this game in a very big way, but give me a little taste of Oklahoma City to get the win and cover on no rest. I think they're wanting to win these games. I think they're wanting to move up the standings, but it's a letdown spot, so I really won't be on it. Next up, we've got Phoenix at Houston. Phoenix comes in this game fresh off a 10-point loss against the Dallas Mavericks. They were playing on the road, but you know Booker never wants to lose to Luka. That's not his favorite person to go up against, and it's not his favorite person to lose to, that's for sure. Bradley Beal did not play in that game, and we're trying to find out if he's going to play in this one either. It seems like he's very unlikely to play in this game either with his hamstring issue. He just can't seem to stay healthy, which isn't surprising given the track record of his entire career, so we're not really too surprised by that. The Suns find themselves hanging right around the cutoff line to have to be in the play-in tournament. They're in the 7th seed right now. You'd have to believe they want to play their way out of that if they possibly can, but right now that's looking kind of tough. Houston comes into this game fresh off of a tough game at the Pelicans. We predicted that one correctly. We had the Pelicans -7. That was our biggest bet of the day, so getting that one right felt pretty good. Houston has been a real Jekyll and Hyde team. They're very, very good when they're playing at home, but they're very, very bad when they're playing on the road. Houston is 18-9-1 against the spread playing at home, and they're 5-4-1 against the spread on no rest. Phoenix without Bradley Beal has kind of been all over the place this season. I think with the spread being Houston plus 3.5, I'm going to take the Rockets at home in this one, but this isn't a game I'm going to be betting. I don't have enough faith in Houston. I don't have enough faith in the Suns. This is not a game I want to get involved with. Next up, we've got Miami at New Orleans. Miami did not play last night, so they're going to be fresh coming into this one off the All-Star break. New Orleans did play. They got the win like we were just talking about. Very solid win for them. Good job by the Pelicans. New Orleans has some work to do, though, and we're worried whether or not Brandon Ingram is going to play, as he ended up sitting that game out. Kind of a surprise sit out with an illness. Hopefully he'll be back for this one. Hopefully it's not a big deal illness. I would assume he will be, but that can be a dangerous game. New Orleans is in 5th place in the West, so they're feeling good about their ability to stay out of the play-in tournament, but they're kind of in a close race with the Mavs and the Phoenix Suns. Miami came into the All-Star break playing pretty well. Terry Rozier is still going to be out, though. That's kind of concerning. We see Tyler Hero listed as day-to-day. Is there a good shot that he'll be back? He remains questionable with a right foot injury, so that's a pretty big concern. If both of them are out, the Heat can struggle to produce offense. The Pelicans are only -3 in this game. Monitor those injury reports very closely. If we see Brandon Ingram play and we see Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier sit out, this could be a spot for us to be on New Orleans, but this is going to be a game that's completely reliant on who is out there, so keep an eye on those injury reports tomorrow. Check out Twitter, check out the community tab for this channel. I'll be posting some stuff about injuries if I get the info, and we'll see where to go from there. The Denver Nuggets head to Portland to take on the Trailblazers. Denver played against Washington last night. They are not the best team in the league on back-to-backs, going only 3-7 against the spread when they're playing on no rest. Obviously, the Trailblazers have not been having a good time. They lost 6 straight heading into the All-Star break. 2 of those were against the Nuggets, but at least one of them was pretty competitive. They were both in Denver. This one will be in Portland, so that's at least slightly interesting. The Trailblazers really want to find out this season what they have in Scoot Henderson. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for this game with a left abductor strain. The rest of the roster seems relatively healthy, with the exception of Malcolm Brogdon. That's a big deal for this team as he's their veteran leader. He's dealing with right elbow tendonitis, and he's going to be reevaluated in a few more days, so we'll see when/if he comes back. Obviously, this team isn't super concerned with winning games right now. If you're forcing me to bet this, give me Portland in the points at home, but they're only 11-15 against the spread at home, so this isn't a game I'm going to be betting. In one of the bigger matchups of the night, we see the Milwaukee Bucks heading to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Neither one of these teams played yesterday, so we're happy to see them both rested and ready to go. Milwaukee is having all kinds of problems into the All-Star break, out of the All-Star break. Is Giannis happy? Is Giannis not happy? Is Doc Rivers the answer to all these problems? Well, that'd be really weird because he's been the answer to almost no problems before. We really can't figure out why they would even be wanting to pick him up as their coach. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Milwaukee has been terrible against the spread on the road, going 9-17-0 against the spread when they play away from their home floor. Minnesota has been decent at home. They're 13-9-2 against the spread at home. We saw Anthony Edwards really kind of clowning out at All-Star Weekend, but I expect him to really try hard. I think the Timberwolves are going to be locked in for this second half of the season. They're currently sitting in the top spot in the West. That's going to be something they want to hold on to. The Thunder are right there on their heels, only a single game back. Minnesota has all the length and athleticism to hang with the Bucks. I'm looking at Minnesota -4.5 in this one. Give me Minnesota. Like, I don't have any faith in the Bucks right now. I don't think their system is good. Their defense is so bad. Who on the Bucks is going to guard Ant-Man? Like, maybe Giannis. Like, that's really the only answer. So we are going to take Minnesota at home in this one. Next up, we're looking at Charlotte at Golden State. Both these teams played last night. The Hornets were playing in Utah, so now they have to travel to San Francisco. That's not that far of a trip. Charlotte has been terrible against the spread on the road this season. They are just straight up not a good team. We're not seeing LaMelo Ball play in this game, so we really don't have a lot of reasons to think he'll play in the next game either. The Warriors come into this one fresh off a weird game against the Lakers where LeBron's not playing. The Warriors have been decent, 6-4-1 against the spread on no rest. The spread on this game right now is looking like the Warriors minus 14, so they need to get an absolute blowout in this one. I don't know, man. I guess maybe give me Charlotte in the points, but I will not be betting this game. Not going to be touching this one with a 10-foot pole. This is a very weird spread. I'd have to see some very interesting things from the Warriors or some very interesting things from the Hornets to be interested. Maybe if LaMelo Ball ends up playing in this game, if he ends up active. So keep your eye on that injury report, but this is one I'm staying away from. Last up, we've got the San Antonio Spurs heading to the Lakers. The Spurs come into this game fresh off a tough road game against the Sacramento Kings. The Lakers come into this one fresh off a tough game against the Golden State Warriors. LeBron kind of surprise sat out this game against the Warriors with some sort of ankle issue, which was kind of weird and pretty unexpected. Nobody really saw this coming until he was just like, hey, I'm not going to play. I have a sore ankle. So that was kind of surprising. Will we see Wemby play on back-to-back nights? I think we might. The Spurs have been terrible this season, though. 3-6 against the spread on no rest. The Lakers are also bad on no rest, but if LeBron plays, he will be rested. So it's kind of hard to know what to do. I don't think we can guarantee that we see Anthony Davis play here on back-to-back nights. So this one's very up in the air. Keep your eye on the injury reports, and we'll see which side we want to be on in this one. But I'd be very surprised with all the better value earlier in the night if we really want to be on this game at all. That's all of our NBA games for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below with any questions or comments about these picks or today's slate, and check out stumpthespread.com to see all of our top plays. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. We'll see you guys tomorrow for more NBA action.